Good morning, friends. It has been forever since I've been on, so I wanted to just hop on. I've got to go run some errands this morning, so I was going to do some makeup, so I figured why not? Let's just come on here and share a few of my favorite things. They are still my favorite things. I just have been slack as far as sharing on Facebook, so I wanted to get ready with you guys this morning. I'm just going to do a basic errand face, but say hi if you hop on. I'm going to use just a handful of products and few of my favorite things. That's all, guys. It is Monday, so we are going to do some makeup on Monday. I'm not. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some moisturizer and some eye cream. These two are my go-to right now. I prefer our Calendula moisturizer, but I am out, so I've been using our foamy moisturizer. So I'm going to start with some Age Reverse's eye cream. I can share a picture of you guys. When I first started using this, my bags were really bad. It was really puffy, but as you can see, I've applied nothing this morning, and I use this twice a day, and it has eliminated the puffiness under my eyes. One of my favorite things, and I must have it, and I use it twice daily. It's literally a little tube. It's just an eye cream. I am out of my moisturizer, so I'm currently using our foamy moisturizer. It's not my favorite, to be honest. It's in a little serum tube like this, a little dropper. I just put a few drops on my fingers and apply it. This does have a little tackiness to it, so that's why it's not my favorite. It's kind of sticky feeling on your face, but I have ordered my moisturizer, and so it hasn't come in yet. So we're going to use what we have. So we are going to apply this all over my face, and we're going to let this dry for just a second. You always want to moisturize your skin, hydrate your skin. Skincare is super important, because if you don't take care of your skin, your makeup is not going to look good. Before Farmasi, I was not using a skincare routine at all, and my skin was flaky, it was dry, it was not properly hydrated, and you could tell in the application of my makeup where my skin was flaky and gross and all those sorts of things. So yes, skincare is super important. Like they say, you know, your skin is your largest organ. So, you know, we take care of our bodies, we need to take care of our skin as well. Once that is dry, I'm going to go in with a primer. Even on my easy days, I always try to use a primer because it applies a base to apply your makeup to. It keeps your foundations and such from seeping into your pores. It helps minimize breakouts. And it gives you a smooth canvas, because as you get older and such, your pores are larger. I mean, it's inevitable. You have wrinkles, you have pores, and enlarged pores rather. And so this helps to fill that in and give you a space to apply your makeup. This is our VFX Pro Camera Ready Primer. It is a silicone-based primer. It is good for everyone. We do have a cream-based primer, and it is a strobe primer. It has an iridescence to it. It's a cream, so it looks like a lotion. If you have oily skin, it is not good for you, because it will add that glow and it will add to that shimmer and the shine on your face that you probably don't like. So this one's good for everybody. That's what I use. So even when I'm just using a BB cream or CC cream or even a tinted moisturizer, I'll always apply a primer, because it keeps that foundation from seeping into your pores. Today I'm going to go in with my CC cream. This is a medium coverage. You can apply more to make it a full coverage, but if you prefer a medium coverage, or you just don't like, I wouldn't say heavy, because our foundation isn't heavy truly, but this is just a medium coverage. Our BB cream is more of a light coverage. I like to use that in the summertime, where I just need some added hydration to my skin and something to cover my skin to keep protected from the sun. So I'm using a damp sponge. I take it and I run it under water, and then I squeeze it out. So it's nice and wet, but it's not dripping. So like when you squeeze your sponge, you should not have water running out of it. I used to just spray it with my Time Locker spray, but I've found that if I dampen it with water, squeeze it out, it helps apply the makeup better. It feels better on your skin, and it just blends it out better. So I'm going to cover my entire face with the CC cream. If you want some added coverage, you can add more. It's always buildable. You can add as little or as much as you'd like. I'm completely out of my full coverage foundation, which I don't use on a daily basis anyway, but so I'm using our CC cream today. The CC cream will help cover any redness, any discolorations, and such on your face. It stands for color corrector. Our BB cream is a beauty balm and it has added hydration. Like I said, I like to use that during the summer, especially when I'm just hanging out at home with the kids, but I need to protect my skin from the sun to be outside and such. I like to use that one. I do have some hormonal nonsense going on my face over here, so we're going to use a little bit of concealer just to dab onto that. Alright, let's see. We have two concealers. I'm going to use our liquid concealer, which is what I prefer. Our cream concealer is fine, but I feel like when you use it under your eyes, like if I'm going to use it, I use it elsewhere. So like I might dab it on a spot or a blemish that needs to be covered, but I feel like when I put the cream concealer under my eyes, it settles in the wrinkles and you can just see the lines, and I don't like it. Our liquid concealer does not do that, and so that's why I prefer to use it under my eyes. I'm using shade Light Ivory. It is a lighter shade than what my skin is, which truly my skin probably is this shade. We're gonna pretend it's not. To lighten and brighten under my eyes to give that nice highlighted look. I'm gonna use the same sponge and just dab to blend that out. And like I said, I prefer the liquid because it doesn't settle in lines and such under your eyes. After this, I'm gonna set it with some powder. I'm gonna use our transparent setting powder. It is a white looking powder, and I like to use it to set anywhere that I put highlight or concealer. Typically, I would highlight my nose, my forehead right here, Cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin, but because we're just running errands and such, and I'm not doing a full date night face or anything crazy, I'm just going to do that just to lighten and brighten under my eyes. So I'm going to use our, let's see, I'm going to use a sponge, transparent setting powder. So I'm just going to dab into this. This is a foam. It's a sponge that's for powder. It's like the regular foamy sponge, but it's like velour on the outside, and I found it at Walmart, and it picks up the powder really well, and it's a super cool find. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm just setting that concealer right under my eyes where I applied it, and then I'll let that sit for just a second, and then I will brush it with a brush just to make sure the excess is gone, but it will help hold that concealer and keep it in place all day long. My favorite powder is the terracotta porcelain powder. I'm going to use this just to set the rest of my face. I'm just going to dab, dab, dab from everywhere else that I put foundation, just to help hold it in place all day long. Make sure you bring it down. You want to make sure your foundation matches your neck very well, and make sure you pull it down so it doesn't look like you have a line or you've put a mask on. I'm going to use our 3-in-1 face palette today because you get 3 awesome products in one package, and it's just super handy. I've had several ask what are a few of my favorite things. This is one that I must have. This is convenient for traveling. This is just one of those things that you just can't go without. You get a bronzer. We're going to add a little bit of bronzer right here above the ear. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this just brings some color back to your face after you've applied a monotone shade of foundation. Going around the hairline. I like to take what's left and just brush along my jawline. And then of course a little on the edges of my nose. I like to flatten it a little bit. Nothing heavy, nothing crazy. And then we're going to take a blended, nope, wrong brush, where's it at? A brush and just blend it out. It's a nice shade to bring some color back to your face after you've washed it out with a shade of foundation. It's just to add a little shade, a little definition. And then I make sure that you brush this up into your hairline so again it doesn't look like you just have a line across your face with makeup. And go around the jawline because I did add a little. And then of course added a little bit too much there on my nose. Just gonna brush up and down to brush out that bronzer. And then of course I have freckles on my nose, and so when I brush it, it kind of takes away some of the foundation. So I always go back in and just dab a little bit of what's left on my sponge on my nose to help keep that bronzer where it needs to be, on the edges of my nose and not on top of my nose. Okay, let's see. We're gonna do some brows real quick. Brows are a must for me because they are sparse and I just like the way they look when they looked finished and defined. So I'm going to use two brushes. This one is a spoily brush, and you're just going to brush out those brows. Let me grab a mirror. I'm going to use a powder, and I'm going to use a little skinny brush, angled skinny brush, and I'm just going to use what I already have on my face and just define it. So I'm going to add a line at the bottom. Hopefully you guys can see. Just adding a slight shadow of a line, and then I'm going to do the same thing on top. I'm just filling in what I have. So I'm going to go over the edge on the end and just brush that outwards. And then I'm going to take in the front, and I'm going to take this angled brush and I'm going to brush up and just fill in. And I like mine a little more boxy, so the front of my brows, I make them a little boxy. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do a little line underneath that gives that nice shadow. And do the same thing on the other side and follow that arch out and just brush it out. And then I'm going to take that same thing and I'm going to make a little boxy in the front and brush up in the front of my brows to get that pigment. You're basically just painting pigment on the back of your skin to fill it in to make it look like your brows are there, even though they're really not. Alright, so I'm going to take this same brush and just kind of brush it out on both sides just to help blend out that pigment and remove anything. Make sure your brows are all going the right way. The next thing I'm going to use is our clear brow gel. It's not necessary, but I personally love it. It is clear. It looks like a mini mascara. I like to brush the excess off, and it literally goes on wet and it just holds your brows in place. It goes on wet and it of course dries clear. This does not flake. I've used others before that flake, and by the end of the day it looks like your skin is peeling. These do not do that. And you just let it dry and it holds your brows in place and holds the pigment in place for the rest of the day. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some blush. I'm going to use the same palette. Find a brush. I'm going to use our blush brush and I'm just going to dab into it, tap it off because it is pretty pigmented. And I'm just going to brush that right above where I just applied some concealer. Contour, sorry, not concealer, where I put the bronzer. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to brush that pigment on to bring some rosiness back to my cheeks. I'm going to add a little on my nose. Then I'm going to take this fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend it out so it's not so heavy. You can see the pigment, but it's not so bold like it is before you blend it out. Alright, so that is your blush. For the sake of using this palette, I am going to add just a touch of highlight. I'm going to dab into this middle. Our highlighter in this palette is like seriously my favorite. It is so pigmented and it is so shiny. Literally, you see the glow. It's so nice. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to put it right where I put the blush, right above it. I'm going to add a little to my nose and the Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to take the same fluffy brush and just kind of blend it out just a little. I'm going to use the same palette and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to my eyes. I'm going to take where's my brush? Alright, I'm going to use this bronzer shade and I'm just going to apply this to my eyelid. I'm going to start in the corner, in the crease. And this is just going to add a little bit of color to my eyes to add a little bit of definition versus just not adding anything. So I'm using the same palette just to add some color. I'm just applying all over my lid and in the crease of my eye the same shade. And then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just blend that out all over. And this just adds some depth to your eyes. It's not a full eyeshadow look, but it just adds some color and some definition. And then I'm going to take a flat, where's that? I don't see the brush. What did I do with it? There it is. I'm going to use a little bit of this highlight and I'm going to apply it to the inner corners just to brighten just a bit. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to do just a little bit of highlight. I'm going to take it with my finger and I'm going to pop it in the inner corner of my eyes, and this just helps brighten where you hold some darkness in the corner of your eyes if you do like I do. And then I just take this little fluffy brush and just brush away the excess, and it just brightens the inner corner. I'm not going to do any liner today, so I'm going to go in with just our mascara. I'm going to use our Be Fit mascara. It is a waterproof mascara. It's perfect for summertime. It's water resistant. It has a nice, the brush curves in the middle. It goes on really nicely. It's more of a natural look mascara. It's nothing dramatic, nothing crazy, but it cuts your lashes nicely and you can actually see your lashes. I'm making a mess. Put that on the top and the bottom. And I'm getting that all over my eye, y'all. I can't apply mascara on camera without getting mascara everywhere. Alright, and that is just one coat of our Be Fit mascara. Of course, I made a mess, so I'm going to have to clean that up. It's all over my eyelid. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm not even going to use 2 coats today. 1 coat is sufficient and it makes my lashes pop. And it makes me feel put together. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Again, I'm making a mess, so I'm going to have to clean that up. Alright, so that is some mascara. I'm going to take that spoolie brush that I used to brush out my brows, and I'm going to take it once this dries for just a second. If you make a mess like I did and you got mascara here and here, you can take this brush and literally scrape away and do the same thing up here. That one's a little heavy, so I guess I might have to smear that one a little. And you just let it dry for just a second and it will take it away. Super neat hack. And then of course, if it takes too much of your mascara or whatnot away, you can always go back in and touch up with just a little bit. I'm going to go back in with just a little bit of that highlight where I had the inner corner and just dab it where I rubbed it with that brush to add a little extra. Alright, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use our lip conditioner. I'm literally almost out, so I'm going to use a lip color brush, and I'm still using the same one because there's nothing practically in it. But this conditioner feels amazing on your lips. It hydrates your lips, and then I like to apply it as a primer before I add a lip color. And let that sit for just a second. And then I'm going to use a lip gloss today instead of an actual lip color. I'm going to go in with our Rose Fame Nudes for All lip glosses. These are made with shea butter. They're hydrating. They're not sticky. I hate a sticky lip gloss, so I'm not crazy about our Miss Sparkles because they're more sticky. These are not sticky, and these are my favorite. It has a nice pigment to it. This is a perfect summer and spring shade. Like I said, they're made with shea butter, so it's hydrating for your lips too. And it's non-sticky. Last thing I'm going to do is, now that my mascara is dry, I'm going to take our Time Locker setting spray. This is a finishing spray. I always use it regardless how much or how little makeup I apply. This helps to keep it in place and it sets your makeup on your face. You just let it dry and you are ready to go. Alright guys, if you hung out with me this far, thank you so much for watching. If you would like and share this video, that would be great. If you watch this later, comment and let me know you watch it later. If you want some samples, let me know. I have a gang of samples I need to get mailed out to somebody. No obligation if you want to try the foundation, the concealers, any of the, maybe possibly some shampoo or anything like that. Send me a message, guys, and I will mail it to you. No questions, no harassment. I promise nothing. Send me a message and I will get some samples to you in the mail to try, because you can't say you don't like something if you've never tried it. So let me send you some samples and let you try. Anyways, you guys have a great Monday and I will chat at you later. Bye guys.